The one of one is missing.
I knew something was up.
Pop, that's almost twice as much going for the same price.
I just freaking love that rated rookie logo.
Doing more buying.
Which one of these 5 quarterbacks has the worst set of pass catchers to throw the football to?
Guess how much I sniped this for an auction?
Number to 5, you dirty animal.
I'm telling you, these optic on-card autos are money.
It's time, baby. This is when the real grind goes, okay? Look, there is a reason why, Andy, we are a part of the NoOffseason.com network because, Andy, there is no off-season when it comes to football cards, baby.
That's right.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, we almost had some company in here. Yes, sir. Yeah, man, I'm excited. This is my favorite time of the year because now that the Super Bowl is officially in the books, a lot of people start buying. So there's a little bit of an inverse relationship to what you would think you want to do. And now, general strategy, I like to dig into the auctions that end throughout the week when I can find undervalued cards. But a lot of times, this is a great time to sell as well. So it's really, you could potentially get 2 birds with 1 stone at this time of the year. We also have free agency coming up, and we have the draft coming up after that. So it is really exciting, man.
Yeah. So what makes football cards very interesting in comparison to some of the other sports, Andy, is football has become such a big, the next thing sport, right? Super Bowl ends. Guess what? It's mock draft season. I've already read 50,000 mock drafts, and I'll read the 50,000th and first after this show is over. I mean, the NFL draft has become so big. NFL free agency has become so big, Andy, and this is where you can make money. And Family Burliner, we'll get into some college cards a little bit later. But, Andy, for right now, what is really standing out to you as something that you are doing now that the Super Bowl is over?
Well, it gets into a lot more nuance than just digging through auctions because you have to have a strategy, right? You could get lost in, hundreds of pages of sold results. So I do like to filter down. I like to, first and foremost, my favorite strategy is to filter by player. So that way I can attack a specific year. And, typically I gravitate towards the rookie cards, but I do see tremendous opportunity when you look at some of these bigger name players for that have big team changes, like Devontae Adams, a perfect example. So, right now I'm really getting a good grasp on who is going to be, I would say within the top 10 rounds of fantasy drafts next year. Who are the top 30 most relevant wide receivers, and then out of that group, which guy kind of fits the mold of still has a lot of demand, still is getting cards submitted to the grading companies, still is being hunted down, but maybe going under the radar for one reason or other. Is it return from an injury? Is it because they had a poor quarterback situation last year? So those kind of things. And from there, then I'll start looking at their auctions. So then I'll do, in the case of Devontae Adams, I'll do a 2014 Devontae Adams search to see what's potentially out there. But then I'll also do a 2022 and 2023 search to see what type of auctions are out there, because I find that cards in his Raiders uniform from 2022 and 23 that are serial numbered, case hits, those kind of cards, also veteran autograph cards, go for a lot of money as well, and they get a lot of demand. But not all the time, man. There's a lot of auctions rolling out every week. That's why you got to be strategic and really hone in and filter your results.
Right. Like, I would get more excited about a Devontae Adams card in a Raiders uniform than I would a Calvin Ridley card in a Jaguars uniform, because of the brand, right? Devontae Adams feels like a Raider and Calvin Ridley doesn't feel like anything. And Andy, that's actually one of the first things I wanted to bring up. This wide receiver NFL draft class is getting heavily hyped, but you also have free agent wide receivers that could be making moves, right? You got T. Higgins, you got Michael Pittman, you do have Calvin Ridley, Odell Beckham Jr. The list goes on and on. for me, imagine what would happen to a guy like T. Higgins cards if he were to get picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs when they had the opportunity to draft them a few years ago. I think the Kansas City Chiefs would be interested in making a move to get a big-time wide receiver. You have to factor that in as well, Andy. That new team smell could definitely push some players' card prices.
Oh, yeah, man. They love it. And like we saw from Christian McCaffrey, when he was traded to the 49ers, his cards spiked like crazy. We saw the same thing happen with A.J. Brown. And in fact, the Eagles are a very interesting situation because we arguably have seen the best prices on A.J. Brown when he was traded to the Eagles during the draft than we've seen since he was a top 3 wide receiver on the team in 2022. And I know 2023 had stretches of really good times, but then the Eagles overall kind of struggled this past year. And there were definitely some down games for A.J. Brown, but we saw his best prices when he was actually traded. So those are guys I'm looking for, man. And I love that you brought that up because Calvin Ridley is an interesting one hitting the market. He's still fairly young, right? He's a pretty young guy for 2018. And then you combine that with the scarcity of the 2018 draft class, and you can really find some rare cards. So all of a sudden, a field level silver from select rookie from 2018 has like 4 times as much scarcity and therefore has an easier path to a 2 to 3x increase than it does from 2020 or 2021. When you look at 2020 and 2021, those cards are just more common and there's more variety. So people have more choices to pick from. And, select went retail. So it's like, it kind of got devalued a little bit. And then if it's not a PSA 10, then I got devalued a little bit more. So all of a sudden your filtering gets more honed in based on the draft class.
Yeah, I'm with you. We say hi to Sean G, Mr. T, Ryan, Pick Six Cards. Welcome to the channel, and a Go Tigers to you as well. Quick reminder, Jack said he actually bought some Devontae Adams. Fat Jesus 86, good to see you. Absolutely crazy name. One thing, this Saturday, I'm doing a free card show with my friends in Bossier City, Louisiana. So if you are in Louisiana or if you're in East Texas, that is a drivable, easy drive. I'm there all day. There will be some high school recruits that are going to LSU that are signing autographs, but I'll be there. I'm liquidating a good bit of my stuff to get into some bigger Grail pieces. So we will see you this Saturday. It's a free show, Bossier City Civic Center. So there you go. We say hi to Joel. We say hi to Emo Cards as well. Now, Andy, my next thing I want to bring up is this year's Prism product. I do feel people are loving it. Okay. I just think people like the way the design looks. And I think that was especially critical because of the autograph situation we have with guys like CJ Stroud. Andy, your overall thoughts on how Prism has been performing? I have been on fire about this design. It's been my favorite design since the 2020 product.
Yeah, we kind of go back to that. We talked about it a couple times. I really agree with you, man. So it's interesting to look at. One question I get a lot is between the variation that they printed this year, the photo variation, and the main one, and which one's going to do better. Looking at the overall sold results, I'm going to pull up Anthony Richardson just because he is the most bought 2023 rookie card right now over a 24-hour period. It's a combination of price point, definitely lower than CJ Stroud. Also, you have the highest, arguably the highest print run and variety, definitely have the highest variety numbers for Anthony Richardson, having the ability to sign and autograph Panini cards. So there's a big difference there when you look at Anthony Richardson's market compared to CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. But I always thought these retros would do better. They don't do nearly as good. Right now, we've got the 2012 retro silver prism selling for $60 on Anthony Richardson. Whereas if you look at the base silver Prism. If we happen to stroll across one, here's one that sold today in a buy it now, $110. So twice as much. And then if you find, if we happen to stroll across one of the variations, which kind of makes it look like a black Prism silver that they print in Chronicles, it's an interesting portrait variation that I like. It's doing almost just as good as the base silver, but not quite as much. I would say, the retro is 50% there. The photo variation is 85, 90%. And the bulk of the demand and the dollars still go to the base silver Prism. The silver Prism auto, obviously that's a 6x increase from there. As you can see, Anthony Richardson auction closing today for $645 on his silver Prism rookie auto.
Look at that. AR. Andy, that's your guy, man. Let me just ask you straight up before we get to some CJ conversations here. Do you believe Anthony Richardson takes a leap next year and becomes one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL?
Ooh, 10 best. Well, he's definitely got the capability, man. He's got the athletic ability. He's got the arm. And I was really impressed with the poise and the overall scan progression ability and the decision making. It was really promising. He's got to get better at taking hits, though. He's got to study, Lamar and Jalen Hurts, and like these guys are a lot better at taking hits. Clearly, as a mobile quarterback, especially in a Shane Steichen system where there is going to be designed runs and they're going to build it around Anthony Richardson's strengths. So I'm really hoping that he comes back with a new sense of, hey, I'm not indestructible. I've got to be smarter. I've got to learn how to take hits better, that kind of thing. And hopefully it goes well for him because obviously, I'm a Florida Gators fan and I am an Anthony Richardson fan. From a quarterback fantasy perspective, I mean, he is a Konami code quarterback. He's a true dual threat quarterback. I love me some Michael Pittman Jr. I think Josh Downs was a great rookie this past year. They've got some really promising talent there on the Colts. Jonathan Taylor, obviously, really promising running back. So you can see, man, people are buying Anthony Richardson. If you look over the last 24 hours, Anthony Richardson up there with the highest buy it now and best offer sold rookie cards next to, of course, Purdy, Mahomes, and Rashee Rice, and even CMC there.
I guess it would be a not so great show if we didn't mention Patrick Mahomes, Andy. There's so much stuff already baked into his price, but I'm starting to think, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Brady cards over the years, right? For those that don't follow basketball cards, I don't, but I am a son of a former Michael Jordan super collector. So I know a little bit about Jordan. Jordan is different than basketball cards, Andy. He's his own thing. It's like he is his own sport. I'm starting to think, is that going to actually happen to Brady cards? And could that actually happen to Patrick Mahomes cards? Because, what he did in this last Super Bowl is just crazy. And, he's basically Jordan. People are comparing him to Michael Jordan, not even Tom Brady. And he is getting compared to Tom Brady if he's the GOAT or not. So, Andy, your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes' products moving forward and your thoughts on his prices after another legendary Super Bowl run.
Well, he's got such a safe floor, I think, at this point, right?
Right.
I mean, we've established a new normal within the hobby. We're now how many 3 years, basically 3 years removed from the peak boom back in the beginning of 2021, 2020 season. That was peak, modern day sports card boom time. We're now 3 years removed from that. And the fact that he's still selling his base Prism, which comes silver standard out of the box. If you're new here, right, for rookies in 2016, 17, those are all silver Prisms for rookies in NFL only out of the box. And so this is his base Prism. And that in PSA 10 condition, I think has a very good floor around $4,000. Mahomes thinks he's just starting a dynasty. I mean, it's pretty wild, but I mean, this is obviously a full blown dynasty. Be very interesting offseason for the Chiefs, but what happens when you reach the peak of another Super Bowl win, there's nowhere for it to go but really kind of go down a little bit and just regress back to probably around this $3,000 number. So
Right.
if I was a high roller and I had, $3,000 expendable cash that I wanted to invest as in an alternative investment, I would say, yeah, I mean, $3,000 is safe because look how many times we've seen that card go up. This is a $5,000 buy now from Probstein November 20th. So I maybe question the validity of it a little bit, but here's another one for 4,500 back on November 3rd and Super Bowl time period. We have a couple more that sold for 4,250. So I think there's a
Right.
very good buying opportunity for Patrick Mahomes on this card specifically in that $3,000 range. Now, if it dips under that, I think you're making money because they're going to
Yeah.
be right back in the playoff race next year, right, Carter? I mean, would you agree? I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so there's going to
Yeah.
be plenty. I mean, this guy is quickly going to be touted as he's already now. I saw several tweets of him surpassing Peyton Manning playoff win, numbers and stuff. They're already comparing him to Manning and Brady, and so it's only a matter of time before that just kind of correlates over the card market.
Yeah. I wish the hobby was more nuanced and not just Super Bowl or bust. Because obviously we'll take a look at Brock Purdy's cards right after this, Andy. Mahomes is just that guy. Until Joe Burrow comes back healthy next season, he is the only one. He is the only one that has the stones to look Mahomes in the eye and beat him. So just wait till Joe gets back and we'll get a Bengals Super Bowl win next season. Calling it now, Bengals, Eagles, or Bengals, whoever. They're winning it all next season. But the truth here, Andy, is Patrick Mahomes is already one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, just with his resume now. And it's going to be interesting to see where it goes from there. My thing is, will that 2017 Prism, let's say 10, 15 years from now, feel like a Jordan 86 Fleer or a Tom Brady Chrome, 2001 Chrome, whatever year it is? The card I'm talking about. It's going to be fascinating, Andy. And we see right here a rookie ticket auto going for $16K. How about that?
Yeah, I think certain cards will, Carter, and this is one of them, the rookie ticket auto. This is arguably Tom Brady's most iconic card. Maybe not his most iconic card. Maybe that's the Bowman, the 2000 Bowman Chrome. But if you look at his highest resale card ever, that's his Contenders playoff rookie ticket auto. And so this is from the same brand, right? It's just been remanufactured by Panini through the same brand, but in 2017. So it has a very deep ticket theme, goes all the way back to 1998. That's Peyton Manning's rookie year, Randy Moss's rookie year, Brian Urlacher, so some famous all-time NFL greats. So this is a card, when I see this one selling for, it's a PSA 8 compared to the one above it for PSA 10, but I still think the rookie ticket auto, maybe long term, will do even better than that impeccable right there above it.
Right. Because of the brand. Yeah.
Because of that brand recognition. And it's something that people can chase for all the greats. So if you wanted to go back to 1998, you could build yourself a collection of rookie ticket autos of all the greats from 1998 to present day. You can't do that with impeccable. You got to mix and match different sets and stuff like that, which I think that's something really, really cool that the rookie ticket auto has.
Let's talk Brock Purdy really quickly, Andy, and then we'll get into all of your questions. We got one from Christopher. He wants to talk some Kyler. I'm down to do that here in just a moment. For me, Andy, as far as the way Brock Purdy played in this game, I think the most underrated person in that Super Bowl was Steve Spagnuolo, because he called such a perfect defensive game. He looked at the 49ers and said, F you and all your all-pro guys. We're just going to be more physical. And, Andy, as you know, I'm a film study guy. I launched my film study channel, Power Hour NFL. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go for it. Spagnuolo just played man-to-man coverage across the way. And, man, I felt bad for Brock Purdy. His supporting cast, Andy, sucked. They just sucked. Trent Williams sucked. George Kittle got banged up. Debo, I felt wasn't playing at 1,000% at all times. And C-Mac, of course, had the early fumble. I think Steve Spagnuolo just mastered Brock Purdy in this game. And I thought Brock overall played well. But the bottom line, Andy, is he needed to win the Super Bowl for his Cards to really, really go nuclear. But I still feel pretty good about him moving forward, even though I've been labeled as an anti-Brock guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think both of us have been at times because, we call him a product of Kyle Shanahan's system and the awesome run game and everything. What, his Cards definitely peaked before the Super Bowl. Actually, the best peak was when they started out, 5-0, and
Right.
he was having those perfect passer rating games at the beginning of the season. And he was like, clear MVP front runner. Brock Purdy's going to just shatter records this year, and he's Mr. Irrelevant. So that whole thing combined with the beginning of the season and the fact his Cards were very undervalued in the summer, they shot up big time. So I'm looking at the Chronicles Prism Black Silver here, and you could see that October 14th they had $700 buy it now on the PSA 10, $482 auction, and today, so let's look at February 8th. Right? You had a $255 auction. If you look at February 3rd, you had some better ones. You had a $396 auction. That's right after the championship game. And then now today you have a $400 buy it now.
Ooh,
so in fact, Brock Purdy dipped into the Super Bowl just slightly on this card, but now he's going back up. It makes sense to me because now the season's over. People are reflecting and are like, well, Brock Purdy's going to be their starter next year. This team is also a dynasty. I want in, and I want to get in now. Tax returns are coming back. It's a new year. People are this maybe they don't have a significant other to spend money on Valentine's Day. They're going to buy themselves a Valentine's gift right here. Brock Purdy rookie card.
Whew. I am going to be interested to see what Brandon Ayuk does this offseason, right?
Yeah.
There's something to be said about being, just a piece, but there are times where you're like, is Brandon Ayuk the best player on this offense? I mean, he really had some amazing games. Now, C-Mac, of course, is the best player on the offense, but man, and Brandon Ayuk is an alpha wide receiver. He proved to be a wide receiver one, Andy. You made a lot of money on Brandon Ayuk Cards this year. And what's going to be fascinating is Brandon Ayuk is going to go into the offseason. What was his final play of the Super Bowl, Andy? Do you remember of this Super Bowl?
Blocking, right? I mean,
no. Well, so he blocked well in this game, but the final play was when they left Chris Jones unblocked and Brock Purdy had to throw it away. Brandon Ayuk was open in the back of the end zone for what could have been the game-winning Super Bowl touchdown. And Brandon Ayuk might feel sour about his situation right now. And look, I could easily see him testing the waters out there. I'm just going to put this out here, okay? Brandon Ayuk is, one of his best friends is Jaden Daniels, right? What if a team says, look, we draft Jaden Daniels in the first round. We need to go get him an alpha. Brandon Ayuk is proven. He's ready to go and be a guy, and he'll probably produce even more than what he did this past season in a non-Kyle Shanahan offense because he's going to be the guy. So it's going to be interesting what his offseason does, and I can't freaking wait to see it.
Man, he's so much more of a household name now. Like last summer, I was able to clean up on Brandon Ayuk because, he wasn't much of a household name. He was more of, we knew if you were deep, like if you played a lot of fantasy football, you knew he was good. You knew the chemistry he had with Brock Purdy was good. You looked at his numbers in terms of his win rate, his separation rate. I mean, the guy's a great route runner and all that kind of stuff. So you knew that. You could almost see the breakout coming. And so that's why I was getting so much exposure to him combined with the prices. And it's like one of those things where, a lot of people in the hobby don't respect a wide receiver, running back, tight end, even defensive player rookie cards nearly as much as they should, because honestly, I'd be doing fantastic if I would have just held those IUs, and
Yeah.
those. I mean, there's a lot of guys like that have made money for me over the past couple of years, and for a lot of these guys out here as well. I know James and Family Burliner and these guys have done really well with skill position player rookie cards. So yeah, man. Yeah, so part of my goal is to find who is going to be the 2024 Brandon Ayuk. I gotta find that guy.
Not only can you do that with football cards, you can do it with fantasy. That's why you got to go sign up. Underdog Fantasy, underdogfantasy.com, promo code QUEST or promo code Carter, either one. You get a deposit match bonus. And I drafted Brandon Ayuk like crazy because I knew if you were on him, that I need to be on him as well. So there you go. Now it's time for Hobby Tip of the Week. Shout out nooffseason.com network. Andy, I actually have two. So I'm going to let you, or I'll go ahead and go first because I got two.
Okay.
Let me first ask you a question. Do you, Andy, know who Boosie Badass is?
I didn't before this past weekend, but I'm like, I had to look him up. I saw you had a run in with him. I'm like, who is this guy? Kind of look like maybe a super speedy wide receiver or maybe a music artist. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So Boosie is one of my favorite artists of all time. More of a Southern thing, but if you've been to a fun wedding before, you have heard a Boosie song. If you are a great person, you have probably heard a Boosie song. He is my favorite hip hop artist. Okay. And I was able to link up with him after a show this weekend. And he is a huge LSU fan. He's from Baton Rouge. He's from my area. Okay. So I have this shirt right here, Andy. Okay. And it's signed by GOATs. Okay. Joe Burrow signed my Power Hour LSU shirt. Patrick Queen, obviously, he's an even better player than what he was when he signed this. So I'm excited to get to meet Boosie. I give him a huge Jaden Daniels. Okay, there you go. All right, so you can see the signature right here. Okay, I give him this huge Jaden Daniels piece. Okay, because he's an artist. He has a big house and he's going to put it on his wall. And I was like, okay, Boosie, I would love for you to sign my shirt. Okay. And he's a huge Joe Burrow fan. So he's like, holy crap. He was honored. And I was like, okay. What did I not do, Andy? I didn't prepare my marker. I just grabbed my Sharpie. I had not used my Sharpie since actually the last card show. I did the same card show I'm doing this Saturday, and it had not been used. Folks, if you are going to a signing or if you're going to an event, there you go. You could see it's faded. All right. If you look at the bottom left corner of it, it's faded. All right.
Oh, no.
I know. I did not prepare the marker. Okay. And I was so freaking crushed. Okay. It's you've got to prepare your markers. All right. Now, this is obviously a PC item. I can't really sell a PHL shirt with all these signatures on it. But, you see how much cleaner Joe's autograph is. I prepared the hell out of that marker. Okay. Patrick Queen, as you can see, that's Michaela Williams. She'll be the number one pick in the WNBA draft here in about 4 or 5 years. Okay. You can see how much cleaner their SIGs are. And obviously signing a shirt is a more difficult thing. So you even need to prepare it even more. Don't make the same mistake as I did. Because this was a huge meetup for me. Boosie's a big deal to me. And that sucked. That absolutely sucked. Now, here's the thing. It's my shirt. So I'm never going to move the shirt unless I absolutely need to. But always prepare your before you sign it. Okay.
So how do you prepare it? Like we
at the very least, before you go up there, write on a piece of paper. Even if you are ripping a Sharpie out of a fresh pack, you need to at least write to see if it works. Because here's the thing, Andy. I'm just glad I had some ink in it. I didn't even test it at all. Okay. So imagine if that was freaking Joe Burrow and I wasn't prepared to sign to get my stuff signed. And look, he's a nice enough guy. I gave him a pretty big item. You could see the TikTok for yourself. It wasn't seen in that photo. I probably could have reached out and said, "Hey, can you get him to sign this or whatever?" But the point is, you're not always going to be that lucky. So make sure you prepare your markers, and before you go get an autograph signed, there's a lot of different types of markers you can use to sign a card. Right? There's paint pens that is very popular now in the hobby to autograph. So it's crazy. My second hobby tip of the week, Andy, is to not run an auction during the Super Bowl. Major L by me. Had a Nick Bosa PSA 10 I forgot about, and I 99 cent it on Sunday. I'd remembered, okay, I have it on a Sunday. Might as well list it on a Sunday. And it went for $53 when every other Nick Bosa PSA 10 base was going for 73 or more going into the big game. So you don't end an auction during the Super Bowl. But that's not here nor there. Andy, hobby tip of the week.
Yeah, so mine comes from War Eagle in our Football Card Quest Discord, guys. So if you want to become a part of that, just go to footballcardquest.com. There's a little Go Premium button that'll take you there. All of our membership tiers come with access to our Keep 'em web app. You see me pull up all the graded football card prices trends, our Discord server. So War Eagle posted this in the Card Help hotline. A couple guys jumped in and started chopping it up back and forth with them. So that's part of the community. You know, it's great. We have a ton of experts in there. But I really thought this question was super interesting, especially right now with the draft coming up. And there's a lot of college football, college uniform, I should say, cards out there. And he has a 2023 Arch Manning Immaculate Auto that he's not really sure what to do with. He mentions here that Ewers is coming back in the fall. We've barely seen Arch play, so his hype is still based on being a Manning. Is it worth grading this card and holding a 2023 card, assuming he stays at Texas and starts next year, or should I sell on preseason college football hype in August? So I wanted to get your opinion, Carter, on whether or not you think Arch plays at all next year in Texas, or what do you think his college football career looks like from this point on?
Yeah, so Arch is not going to start next year, and he's not going to play unless Quinn Ewers gets hurt. So Quinn Ewers is the number one projected quarterback for the next year's NFL draft, okay? And the good thing, if you are an Arch guy, is Quinn Ewers does have an extensive injury history. So that is going in Arch's favor. But Ewers is the guy. Now, two things. Cooper Manning was interviewed, and he said there is no transfer portal for Arch Manning. He is staying at Texas. So that hype with that Manning name is going to be there for a while. It just depends how much you believe in Arch and how much you want to have that card. I would move it, right? Because I personally, and I'm a huge Manning guy, huge. I personally would move it before he actually plays, because I'm not sure, even if he is a starter day one, Andy, year 3, he is ready to be elite just straight out the jump. And these are pretty high prices for college uni cards, even for a Manning, Andy. We're looking at $360, $301 for these Immaculates, numbered to 99. So, yeah. I would definitely heavily consider moving right now.
I would too. I wouldn't even get it graded looking at this data here, because here you have a CSG9 or CSG SGC9 Auto 10 that sold for 255 in auction yesterday, but here's the raw one that's not even as rare. That one's numbered out of 49. These are numbered out of 99 that sold for $100 more in auction on the 10th. So yeah, I wouldn't risk grading it, and because they're sticker autos, if the auto goes off the sticker at all, it's not going to get a 10. So then you're
Right.
going to lose points there, and so this tells me whether you grade it with SGC, CGC, PSA, BGS, if you don't get a 10, then it's just going to take away from the value of the card. So I would kind of flip it raw. But yeah, obviously you have, like Carter mentioned, you have options that you don't have to sell this in an auction. You can list it in a buy it now. And when someone is like, I got to get me an Arch Manning because they see a tweet or a highlight or something of him throwing a bomb, that, and just on the suspicion of him starting wherever, then you capture that impulse buyer and maybe you get 400 or 500 out of the card. He
Right.
is a Manning after all.
Right. So a few things. The 16 out of 99 right there is a jersey number match. So at least they had that going for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Another reason I would move this card in particular, Andy, number one, this is a practice uniform card, right? So if I'm a Texas collector, I don't want the black uniform. Okay. Texas will never wear a black uniform. The second thing, Andy, is if you scroll back up just a little bit, a few things about these auctions that really stand out to me. These were both, I'm guessing, 99-cent let it ride auctions. And you see the one above it, this SGC one, it looks like that was just a min bid auction, right? Only 2 bids at $255.
Yeah.
And this photo kind of sucks, right? Take good photos. With the glare and all of it, it looks kind of distant. It doesn't really pop. Pristine really matters for something like this product. So yeah, if I had this card right here, I would definitely consider moving it right now. And one thing to keep in mind, Andy, is we are getting close to the spring practice cycle. So I might wait a few weeks, and it's Andy, the practice highlights hype cycle. Arch is going to look good in practice because he's not going to be getting hit. And Texas has elite wide receivers, as they always have had. So, I mean, I would heavily consider, if I had that card, moving it. And one more thing, if the Discord name is War Eagle, more than likely he is an Auburn fan. So you definitely want to move it, all right? I don't think there's many Auburn fans holding on to Texas cards. Now, if that was a Cam Newton card or a Peyton Thorne card, that's their new quarterback, then it's obviously a very different situation. Andy, let's get to some viewer questions here. Matt Murray wants to talk some Kyler Murray.
Oh, yeah. I like talking Kyler Murray because 2019 rookie cards, very, very nice. A bump in scarcity over 2020 and 2021. Kyler also has a wide variety, right? Being number 1 overall draft pick. And he was highly submitted to PSA in 2020, even 2019. You could see if you were in the hobby then, you would have seen a ton of Kyler Murray cards submitted to grading companies. So let's take a look at his graded market, because I think that's easily the best indicator of where his market's at right now. And I do agree that it has gone up. I saw some comments. If we look at just a 180, you can see there has been a slight bump in the Prism. It's the most sold card, PSA 10, current trend of $43. It's up just 4%. Let's zoom into a 30-day window now. Just look at the last 30 days. That card's actually up a little bit more, up 14%. So now I'll actually go into it because there's a ton of sold data here. 244 sales in the past year. Most recently, a $55 buy it now. So if I want to see like kind of what you could potentially get that, I'll filter down just to auction and go back, and you can find some auctions that in December, day after Christmas, $13.50, $25. Well, that's not bad, man. If you were to snipe that auction for $13.50 or even $25, that $13.50 one's insane. and then turn around and sell it for 50 in an auction now. I mean, you're doing good, man. You're doing really good. So you can see the price has gone up 55. Like $55 buy it now means that there weren't any auctions ending at the time that buyer went on. And so they grabbed it because, a Prism PSA 10 for a quarterback that's potentially getting big upgrade this offseason and fully healthy, that has the athletic profile that Kyler Murray has. And, Kyler Murray ranked number 1 in deep ball completion back in 2021. So, there's a lot of promise for Kyler Murray given if he gets the right coaching and receiving weapons. So,
Andy, I'm buying Kyler Murray. The biggest Kyler card I have, I bought at this card show I'm doing this Saturday in Shreveport. I think he is going to be really good. And not only that, I think he's the most mispriced quarterback on Underdog right now if you're drafting. Andy, I've done 15 drafts already for 2024. Call me a sicko all you want. I've been getting Kyler outside the top 100. Wait, a Konami code quarterback in the NFC? Well, in the NFC West where shootouts tend to happen? Are you kidding me? Kyler Murray outside the top 100 when you're giving him the best tight end he's had since he's been there. You're giving him arguably the best coach. Gannon, I think, did some good things this past year. And Andy, they're heavily rumored to be drafting Marvin Harrison in this next draft. Could you imagine what Kyler cards could do after that if they were to get a big-time first-round wide receiver? This is a very obvious move for me, and I'm going to be looking to buy more this weekend or trade into more. So we'll see. Good job, Family Burliner. He says Optic Hollow rated rookie for $750. That's some good stuff, man. Yeah. That's really, really, really good stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. And you could see that, the reason why we dug into that base graded market is because it kind of carries over across the board for his other cards. I mean, we're looking at a flawless Ruby Auto out of 15 here, BGS 9.5 on card rookie auto, sold for $438. I mean, Kyler's peak prices on this is going to be a couple grand.
Right.
So we're talking steep discount even right now, even though they've gone up a little bit. We're still getting a really steep discount. There's that same card raw of $237.50. I mean, it's got the RC Shield. It's got an on-card rookie auto. Flawless is one of the top 3 brands next to National Treasures and Immaculate. I mean, Flawless is an incredible brand. And to see it go that low for a 2019 rookie quarterback tells you that Kyler's market is very, very undervalued right now with a lot of opportunities. So here we go. Here's a nice one. I mean, a rookie ticket.
Ooh.
Auto red out of 199 PSA 9, $225. Buy it now. That seller took $75 off to move the card. Like, that tells you it's, people are really not thinking that Kyler's got, maybe it's the whole, video game thing with Kyler. Maybe the competitive juices aren't quite there, but I think he's going to compete. His talent is way too high. Just the sheer fact that they're going to rumor to draft Marvin Harrison, if they do execute on that plan and make that upgrade, he's going to spike off of that alone. So you have opportunity to make money at the draft, and then potentially he could outperform those expectations heading into September. And they're going to have a super easy schedule. When the schedule makers release the Cardinals schedule, it's going to be super easy. You get off to that 3-0 start, be dropping bombs to Marvin Harrison or Trey McBride. They're going to have some good weapons, right? Marquise Hollywood Brown, his old college teammate, still out there. So they're going to have some interesting weapons. I like Michael Wilson too. I think Michael Wilson's an interesting sleeper wide receiver. And so, I think Kyler's got a lot of upside, especially buying in this low.
Yeah, and you are working to get. The Cardinals aren't the biggest brand, but still, people love quarterbacks, and Kyler's definitely a guy that we like. Let's get to a few more. Andy, I saw you want to talk some Drake London here really quickly with Mark D. Once again, if you want to get your question answered by Andy immediately, there's a little dollar sign in the bottom right corner, super chat. Any amount will go straight to your question. But Andy, Drake London is a guy that the fantasy community also is talking themselves into. What say you?
Yeah, I think so. Falcons, I love the new coaching changes they made, bringing in Raheem Morris, a head coach, Zach Robinson, offensive coordinator, and then you also get the top draft capital. So you're likely to make a massive upgrade at quarterback. Bringing in new coaching like that, especially if they're looking at the film of how Ritter and Heineke played last year. Like, we got to make a change. They're going to be either trading for Justin Fields or somebody like that, and making a move that way, which is a big upgrade, or they're drafting a quarterback and there's a big upgrade that way. And there's just a lot of target consolidation there in Atlanta. I think all the hype is going to go to Drake London. It's going to go to Bijan Robinson. It's going to go to Kyle Pitts, a little bit to maybe Jonnu Smith. But if you look at just the wide receiver room, like, can you name the receivers that are behind Drake London on the depth chart? Like, I honestly, I don't even know who's on the depth chart behind Drake London, because it's like, so I mean, I play a lot of fantasy football, so I think maybe I know who's on there. It's like Van Jefferson got traded there, which he's not bad. Van, I like. He's been out there running a lot of wind sprints. So, but I mean, if Van couldn't go off consistently with Matt Stafford, then hey, Matt Stafford's the wide receiver whisperer. So it's all about Drake London in that wide receiver room for me on the Falcons, and I think he's a great play when you look compared. So check this out. I pulled up him with Garrett Wilson, and maybe that's too elite of company to pull him up with. But Drake London's got him beat in draft capital. Talent wise, I like Drake London's skill set as well. Size, speed, route running capabilities. It's just been a really bad offense. But I'll pull him up with Chris Olave. I'll pull him up with Garrett Wilson, and we'll filter down to their rookie ticket auto. Olave's PSA 10 rookie ticket auto up actually 22% right now, up to 180. Drake London's 88, under $100 for a rookie ticket auto PSA 10. That is a $170 card for Garrett Wilson, $180 card for Chris Olave. I think Drake London's got a lot of room for growth.
I love it. Andy, I can't tell you how many times doing the price market analysis of the same players in the same draft class can just make you money, right? If you think Drake London is good and you see him compared to the other rookie ticket auto prices in this class, then you should be looking into it. I mean, look, he's cheaper right here than Christian freaking Watson. Really? Or that must be small sample. That's nuts to me.
Yeah, 76 population on the Christian Watson, but still, Monday, January 15th, you got a $135 auction, followed by a $125 buy it now, which is about normal. And we only have an extra
15.
9?
Yeah.
An extra 9 PSA 10 Drake Londons. And I mean, look at that card back in November. This is why I love buying the best in. My favorite time, obviously, to buy throughout the entire year is mid-November. Because look at that, $51 auction. Like, you're already making money if you're buying in mid-November on a lot of players, man. I'm talking a lot of players that aren't in the elite production categories or on teams that have these really high win to loss ratio records. Then you're making money because you've already doubled up on that card, but it's still undervalued from where it should be at. I mean, look at heading into last season. That's with Desmond freaking Ritter. It was at $150. Now we get new coaching. I mean, we got a guy coming from the Sean McVay system that has PFF quarterback senior analyst experience. I mean, this is exciting. You should be excited. You should be trying to snipe Drake London and, for that matter, Kyle Pitts, any Atlanta Falcons weapon.
One deep dive I want to work with you on, Andy, and we talk about like football card, like deep dives all the time. I've always felt that if you went to Ohio State, your card prices are just always going to be up, right? Chris Olave went to Ohio State. I see someone in there saying that his cards are higher than Sam Howell, who's a quarterback. Garrett Wilson, Ohio State. I mean, I remember J.K. Dobbins for a long time. You could not get any of his cards cheap. So even when his ACL was put through a paper shredder, it's insane. Like how big Ohio State's fan base is. I've always, and this comes from an LSU guy, whose best player ever came from Ohio State. Dude, their fan base is insane. Like the way they spend, and we've seen it with their NIL. Their fans bought the best safety in college football this offseason. Dude, their fan base is absurd. I would love to know which college players have like the most inflated prices. I would not shock me if it's Ohio State.
It's got to be Ohio State and Alabama, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think LSU, but there's another big Derek Stingley collector in this channel. You can get really, if you stay away from Chase, Jefferson, and Burrow, you can find great deals on guys. Ohio State is just hard. Dude, they're guys. And once again, this is just very anecdotal. It just seems like their prices are always up. Now, I do want to answer a question from Family Burliner, not the Darnell Mooney one. He does want to talk college cards. I'll touch on it briefly, Andy. You touched on it briefly earlier. This is going to be the ultimate litmus test this offseason with the Bowman U. I think Bowman U is about to get really hot. Not necessarily like new product, but this last year's product. I think with Drake May having a Bowman U first, Marvin Harrison having a Bowman U first in this last product, I do think, Andy, it's going to spike closer to draft time, and it's going to be interesting.
It's got to, man. And that is such a desirable set when you look at college players. I mean, that's the go-to. It's like, it really is like the Topps Chrome to the Panini Prism from the 2014, 2015 draft class. When you look at those big brands, or 2013, it's always Topps Chrome, Panini Prism, and that's what Bowman University is for college cards. You've got some players like your boy Jaden that's only printed in like Onyx or something weird, but for the bulk of guys, the Michael Penixes and the Brock Bowers and stuff, it's going to be their Bowman Chrome University, the one with the little first logo, because that's synonymous with the first rookie card from baseball before those guys get brought up and stuff. And so that is the one that people are chasing. But if it's one that doesn't have it, it's still got an auto, I mean, you can still comp it out at like 75% of the value, because the one thing that they did change was they got licensing. So, that's a big difference from 2022 Bowman Chrome University. A lot of players had the first logo, but they didn't have licensing. So they didn't have the actual team logos and team names. Now 2023 has got team names, team licensing. And then obviously they printed a lot of the sophomores and juniors with the first, but there was a lot of guys that were sophomores and juniors last year that are going to the draft this year that are in the first from the unlicensed. So the whole thing I'm getting at is that they're both very relevant, because licensing does play a big part. It's a reason why, those cards in a lot of cases will do better than the Leaf. So if you're looking at a Bowman University Chrome first college player rookie auto and a Leaf auto, and then a Bowman University licensed rookie auto, I would rank it the one with the first unlicensed, then the Bowman Chrome University auto from this year license, and then the Leaf. Does that make sense, Carter?
No, I'm totally with you on that. And once again, we had a long conversation about Leaf towards the end of last week's show. If you want to see it, go for it. This is coming from a Leaf guy, where a good bit of my collection is Leaf. Bowman U is where it's at. Okay. One sneaky Bowman U thing. Okay. Women's basketball in Bowman U has a chance to get huge. Okay. They had Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, HVL, Juju Watkins, all these people. So I bring that up because it's different from baseball, where a baseball team's difference is going to be different than a football team, right? Even if you're in the same state, like you have the Arizona Diamondbacks and you got the Arizona Cardinals. With LSU, it's LSU. With Ohio State, it's Ohio State. It's everything. So I think Bowman U has a chance to do some really special things. Mark wants to know about Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I think now would be a good time to look at some of their stuff. I think their stuff will get higher as we move closer towards the end of the season. But Andy, we got to let's give a round of applause to FJ86. He just joined the membership, and he joined the spicy membership, baby. The elite.
Nice.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go, FJ86. We appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I'll send you a message after this stream. Let's set up a time. You and I can have a one-on-one, man.
There you go. Cole wants to ask about downtowns. My big thing, Cole, and we got a few more questions we want to get to before the end here, is be careful of fake downtowns. That's what I can tell you. That is, to me, the most faked card, and it's easy to get duped by those.
Yeah, very easy. And I mean, if you look at the cards that are more often counterfeited than other ones, it's going to be base Donruss. That's the one we've seen counterfeited the most. And so the downtowns from the base Donruss are the ones most likely to be counterfeit. It's really hard for somebody in their basement to make an optic downtown because they have those laser basically chrome finish to it. I mean, someone have to be very, very sophisticated printing system and software and all that kind of stuff to replicate that. But we've seen base Donruss cards replicate all the time. People do it for Brady, Josh Allen, Mahomes. We've seen it on eBay. So definitely watch out for that. Definitely watch out for that RP designation on eBay. That'll get you. They won't type out reprint. They'll just put RP, or they'll put read notes, something clever. Make sure you are not just double clicking on that buy button because you think it's a great price. I mean, oftentimes if it's too good to be, like, the price is really good on a downtown, do your homework on it before you buy it, because chances are it could be a fake or a reprint. And it's one of the most popular cards. I mean, next to Kabooms, downtowns, Color Blast, I mean, those are the most popular case hits out there. So there's going to be watchers. There's people that have saved searches. So if something pops up, especially in buy it now, that doesn't have a bunch of watchers on it, and it's not at least at like a respectable price. Maybe you're getting a deal because of the player situation stuff, but it's not at least at a respectable price. My red flags will be going up quick.
NoOffseason.com. We appreciate everyone here. We'll take a few more. Beavis has been patient asking about Aaron Rodgers card prices. Man, one thing I've learned about collectors is a lot of collectors don't love controversy, right? And AR, he just splits everyone in half, and he's coming off this injury. His rookie year cards, Andy, were so strange because there was a lot of practice uniform cards. Your thoughts on AR moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of potential there because he just has such a small market, man. So few rookie cards, not too many more than Brady, for that matter. And there's very few cards I think that people really go after, especially when you like his rookie market is a lot of grade chasing. People are chasing the higher graded cards because it's so hard to get a PSA 10 or a 10 from any company on a 2005 rookie card. So, look at the chrome. That's actually up a little bit. And I think that's kind of expected. It still only has 259. If we go back February 18th of last year, I want to see where it was heading into the season. $1,100 on September 12th, July 8th, $1,400. I think September 12th, wasn't that Tuesday? That was the day after he got hurt. So I'm gonna go back to the summer 1400, kind of get a better idea of where he was and more hype. And now I see a buy now of 1800 and a auction of 1300 February 1st. A lot of buy it nows on the PSA 9 though. The PSA 9 obviously a much higher transacted card with 805. So that card before the season was, man, look at the variance. 289 auction, 425 buy it now, $300 buy it now, and today 274. So he's got some upside because it's such a small market. But yeah, man, he's an super interesting one.
And this is just my preference with every legendary quarterback. This is part of my PC. It's pretty much my only higher end PC, Andy, is patch autos. Aaron Rodgers does have a lot of patch autos. Now, a lot of them are sticker autos. I much prefer those cards than these rookie cards in a red practice uniform. That's just me. And I know I've made that point a gazillion times on here. His rookie ticket auto, look at that, near 3K, and that's actually a downward trend. Those are very, very rare with the pop 5.9 right there.
Yeah, $3,500 before the season, and we had that drop $1,000 by October 1st, and the last one was October 18th for 2,500. So that's probably about the floor, around 2,500. So if you could still get if you can get one now for 2,500, then obviously you've got upside because he's going to be hyped heading into the season. It's got to be, man. Especially once he gets healthy. The Jets have so much media coverage in preseason. I mean, they've got their YouTube channel videos. He's all over Twitter. I mean, like you said, when he's not getting hit and he's in preseason just dropping dime after dime to Garrett Wilson, who's one of the best receivers in the league, he's going to be hyped up. If he gets and obviously they're going to have primetime games. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, schedule makers are going to put the Jets in primetime. People want to see Rodgers play, especially with the weapons that they have. So expect him to be hyped up, which translates to higher demand for rookie cards and price increases, especially when you have this much scarcity. And you can see most of his cards are still down from where they're at. But, he's going to be 39 this year.
Yeah.
So he's got to do more now than what Anthony Richardson's got to do to get the same type of demand. Like even Joe Burrow is going to have to do more.
Right. You're right on. I mean, you have a quarterback at almost every division that's coming off injury that has a ton of hype, a ton of upside. We know they can all play. It's just tough, right? You got Aaron Rodgers in the AFC East with the Bills there, Tua there. New Patriots regime there. Joe Burrow in the AFC North. We talked about Anthony Richardson a little bit earlier. So we say hi to Empower Men. There you go. Empowering us to shred some weight, Andy.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, shout out to Empowered Men. They are actually a sponsor of the channel. I've been talking about them on our Wednesday, Thursday night live streams. But these guys have helped me out tremendously. I've dropped over 40 pounds in the past 90 days on their program, added muscle, energy through the roof. No, I'm not taking any type of testosterone or anything like that. But my numbers, my blood work from before till now is just night and day. So, we have a link to join them at a 25% discount off. It's 100% results guaranteed or your money back. That's how effective their program is. So check it out. I actually have a link in the description below. Appreciate you guys stopping by. My man Brad and Gil from Empower Men.
But can they beat me in a race? That's all I want to know.
Oh man, I can't wait to redo the 3-cone against you in Cleveland. I'm hoping that there's not some 350-pound man running a 40-yard dash, and then I can redeem myself and beat you in a 3-cone.
Let's take a few more here. I really do appreciate it. Our views are actually going up, and that isn't really a shock to us, because this is when football cards get very interesting, right? I am almost as interested as this first week after the Super Bowl. It used to be when football was over, it's depressing. It's not like that for me anymore, Andy, because I'm all in on the NFL draft. I'm hyping up my LSU guys, and I'm just more locked in now. I've started my underdog best ball drafting already, and I'm starting my football card plan. I set out a plan for what I want to accomplish with my football cards, and Andy, you do the same thing. It's very important.
Yes, sir. No, it really is, because if you don't have like a plan, you're just gonna pop on whenever you want and maybe impulse buy a card. You're not gonna really get the results you want. It's kind of like, the diet and workout approach that Empower Men has helped me build. Without them, I didn't have a plan. So it's like, even though I had this goal of getting in this kind of shape and having this kind of health and stuff like that, how do you get there? How do you get there? You got to have a plan so that you can really, focus in and be more efficient and actually achieve those goals.
Cole says he said he saw a YouTube video basically saying off-season trends in football, that the prices don't actually go down all that much. I tend to agree with that, Andy.
Yeah, especially right now. They don't. Right now, they don't. Right now, they're going to stay even going up. They're going to be going up right now. This is the time of year we're in. It's a hot buying time. So for that fact, I think you should be consistently listing cards if you want to maximize your exposure in the hobby. We know for firsthand experience that if you are more consistent listing cards, list 3 to 5 cards per day on eBay, eBay will reward you. It's the same thing like posting on Instagram or Twitter or YouTube. The algorithm that these companies have built in is very much a social media algorithm. So if you have cards you're posting, mix it up. It could be super cheap bottom end cards. If you don't have 3 to 5 cards to post per day, post 1 decent card, 2 to 3 bottom end cards, and post those bottom end cards for cheap prices. Sell them with a plain white envelope, and you'll boost up your seller rating. You'll boost up in the algorithm. You'll then get more views, and then you'll start getting more views and boost it up in the algorithm on your other items. And so right now is a great time because, we do the overall trend of the football card market is holding strong or going up a little bit into free agency and the draft. And then it dips a little bit in May, but only then to start going back up again whenever you get mini camps, OTAs, and then training camp. It starts to get pretty hot again, because that's when your primary fantasy drafting season is. And then, all the hype for the upcoming football season.
We'll take a few more here. Mr. T says November and December last year were great for buying. Jason Van Castle is our biggest promoter. We appreciate what you do for us on Facebook. Andy, I normally let you pick the next question, but I really do want your thoughts, because Femi the Lion. First off, I love the name Femi the Lion. I freaking love that. He says, are on-card autos really worth more than sticker autos? There are lots of sticker CJ Stroud autos, while the on-cards are much less.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on per player, right? We've seen plenty of players where all they have is sticker autos, and so then it's not a big deal, right? If all they have is primarily is sticker autos because of the redemption process, or because of a strange like COVID year where they didn't go to certain events and they didn't autograph in person, they got the book sent to them, they signed all the stickers, sent them back. People are going to want the rookie auto, whether it's a sticker or on card. But if the player has both, the on card is always going to be worth a little bit more in most cases, unless the sticker auto is very clean and then it's attached to a very desirable brand. Like all of a sudden the sticker auto is on, the rookie ticket auto, for example, maybe with a cracked ice finish, or, it's on, for example, a lot of silver Prism rookie autos are all sticker autos. And so when it's attached to the silver Prism, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, but that's still a silver Prism rookie auto. It's like one of the most popular cards in the hobby. So it's still going to do just fine in the grand scheme of things. It really boils down to, what does that player's overall market look like? What does their total variety look like? If there's readily available on-card rookie autos, then yeah, people are probably going to spend more money on those versus the stickers.
Rain Strike makes an interesting comment. On-card autos do not preserve as well as sticker autos.
That's an interesting one. I think you've kind of seen that firsthand, Carter, because well, you and I both did. I'm trying to think of, there's a couple cards you have because you're a big like mid 2000s collector, and you've got some on-card autos
that are faded. Yeah. That is very interesting.
And he was really reluctant, even though he loved the card, the auto was faded. Yeah. And he was wanting to really cut down what he would give you for it. So
yeah, I got it right here. And I don't mind ever not selling this. Just John Elway, Peyton Manning, on card number /5, UD, and yeah, I mean, it's true.
Somebody didn't prep the Sharpie. I blame it on.
It must have been me, obviously. If you saw our hobby tip of the week from earlier, but yeah, I mean, look, it's an interesting point. I mean, look, Andy, we're talking about rookie ticket autos. A lot of rookie ticket autos from the early days are stickers, right? It's that silver sticker. It doesn't really look all that great, but the auto is normally pretty good on those stickers. Femi asks, because I own 2 Upper Deck CJ Stroud autos. One is a dual PSA 10.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Well, it's Femi, if you want to send me the photos of them, let me look at them. I am at Carter the Power on social media, both on card. I'm interested. We're always open to looking at your cards at Carter the Power, but the best way also is to just sign up for the Discord, and you got instant access basically to us pretty much all the time, and everyone else in the Discord. But yeah, Femi, I would love to see it at Carter the Power on social media. So there you go. We did go a little bit longer today, but part of why, Andy, I pushed it is because we are well over 80 viewers throughout the course of this live stream. That's really good. Really, really good on a Tuesday afternoon. So I know we appreciate your time. We appreciate that you value our time as well. And you could tell we put work into this, in particular, Andy. So there you go. Andy, are there any questions you want to get to before we skedat that?
Well, a couple things. I want to make sure that everybody, I posted a link in the chat earlier, but here I want to post it again. I want everybody to check out Carter's new Power Hour NFL channel. That is exciting. Definitely want to check that out. And then also check out cgccards.com for the perfect PC protection. Now, look, we didn't talk about this much earlier in the stream, but it's always important to look at the differences between all these grading companies and the values that they get, whether it's PSA, BGS, CGC, which is actually a sponsor of the channel. And I recognize that 9 times out of 10, PSA is going to get the higher resale value for their 10s, because that is arguably the most readily available 10 in the market that has the combination of brand loyalty and like really good backing, and they get the highest resale value. But in terms of like just the plastic quality, in terms of the optics of the case and everything, I actually really do like CGC 100%. I did a video on how easy it is to crack these slabs out. CGC, besides like a company like a Rare Edition or something that puts like in those Gorilla Glass cases, CGC had the strongest plastic. So for as low as $12 per card, you can get your PC protected with CGC. And that's important. That's important to me. So I am submitting some cards to them now that I'll be documenting that whole thing. So wanted to just highlight that here at the end of the stream, Carter.
Yeah, I love it. CGC to the moon. I look, I'm open to anything that can make PSA not the only monopoly, right? And CGC to the moon, any other grading service as well. I mean, I just want there to be some more variety. I know SGC has had a good couple of years, but CGC, man, that Andy's done it. I mean, they have the firmest cases out there. Mike Fitz says, "Who are my sleeper NFL prospects?" Well, that's funny. We do play of the week at the end of every show. My favorite sleeper next year. I gave one player I'm drafting a lot, which is Kyler. I'm drafting a lot of Ty J. I'm a believer in his ability. But Andy, play of the week. I'll let you go first, man.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I go first. We've talked about quite a few guys, man. So I mean, I just go back to the Atlanta Falcons and
Yeah.
Drake London. I mean, if you're not, I mean, like it's just such a good play. There's just such easy upside. I think whether they bring in Justin Fields, whether they draft a quarterback. I mean, this team is just set up for massive upside in 2024, combined with an easy schedule that I think they can actually overperform expectations just with the coaching changes. And I think it's super exciting. So overall, I'll give another recommendation. Go back a couple of draft classes because a lot of people are still buying, like they're buying all the sleepers from this past draft class, and it's hard to even sleeper like Tank Dell or something,
Right.
even though he's injured right now because of the new product type with 2023 Prism. So go back to the 2022 draft class, 21, 20, 19, and look at guys from those draft classes. So one guy I've been looking at from the 2019 draft class, Carter, this is a super sneaky one. He's not a sleeper. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. It's Terry McLaurin for the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
And they're picking at number 2 overall. So my inclination with new coaching, new management, new ownership, all the consultants they brought in, they're likely to make an upgrade at quarterback as well. And Terry McLaurin, quietly a 1,000+ yard receiver every year. He's always top 5 in air yard share. He's just a dominant alpha, man. The guy's a stud. And so 2019 scarcity. He's not quite as old as Calvin Ridley, or these other guys that are going to be hitting the open market this offseason. And Terry McLaurin is just one of those guys who's a stud. So he could definitely go up in value from the draft process.
I'm going to go, man, I've been kind of in the middle. I gave mine earlier, which was Kyler Murray. And I'll give you Tajay again, even though I think his prices are going to steadily increase. Man, I'm very interested in what's going to happen here to Cortland Sutton. Okay. Man, I didn't know that he was like top 5 in the NFL in receiving touchdowns this season. And there was just such a stink on him going into the season that, more of the fantasy experts and the ADP guys had Jerry Jeudy way ahead of him. And Cortland Sutton was clearly better than Jerry Jeudy this year. 2018 class, and I was looking at some of his rookie ticket autos numbered to 75. Going for under $15. Sure, why not? I still think he could be a producer next year, but man, the Broncos, I just don't know. So I'm not on fire about it, but I'm still a believer in Kyler Murray, and I'll be looking and buying him. There's a dealer out of Texas I'm looking forward to linking up with this Saturday in Shreveport because I want to make more Kyler deals. I do believe that the Cardinals are going to be better going into next year, and they're the team that is set up the most nicely going into this next NFL draft. So it should be very interesting. So there you go, Andy. Great show, man. An hour 19. It's a record for us, and yeah, should be a a fun football card year. If there's anything else you want to get to here at the end, Andy, you go right on ahead, man.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everybody out there on the quest. Yeah, very fun show. I'm glad you guys all tuned in. Make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned. We're covering a lot of these topics. There will be, edited videos that I do throughout the off season. Obviously, it dives into a lot of the nuances and stuff that that we brought up today. But yeah, man, dude. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but my stomach's just rumbling. So
Dude, I'm starving.
I'm
on
starving.
I hate that you put me on this. I'm on the same thing where we work out in a fasted state. So we're battling hunger here. The MVP of the chat, though, FJ86 joining the $20 Patreon tier. Shout out to you. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Peace. Bum, bum, bum.
Appreciate you guys.
Boom, boom, boom.